Like, if this goes the wrong way,
You know what I say? Throw them all in jail.
how is this unemployment rate staying around 4.4?
That's what's even hard to.
We have actually been living in hell. This is Angry Capital, where we explore how money runs everything from the absurd to the outright insane and why it matters to you. So if we make you laugh or you learn something, hit like. And if you're into this kind of content, hit subscribe so you don't miss out. We bring you 3 shows every week, diving deep and figuring out the fucked up world of finance and the impact that it has on your daily life.
Yep.
Because the jobs report, we got another problem here. Numbers not coming out. I mean, have you seen what's going on here, Paul?
This is what's weird, man. I mean, they never showed up. So the November numbers, nobody wants to say out loud. There was a glitch in the matrix, right? Missing jobs data that forced the entire economy to fly without instruments. This is kind of the first time. I mean, I think it feels like the first time. You know, nothing says robust labor market like the government saying, we have no idea what's happening, please hold.
Yeah, right. The numbers aren't coming out, of course, we know, because of the shutdown. The 43-day government shutdown basically created this black hole of data. The U.S. literally has no unemployment numbers. They don't know the unemployment rate basically for October. The data is gone forever. November's employment situation is reported to be delayed until in sometime in December. They don't even know when, because the Bureau of Labor Statistics had to extend data collection and needs additional processing time. You know how slow the government works, and when they're shut down for like a month and a half, they work even slower.
It makes you think how on purpose was all this. This is the first time in decades economists, investors, and the Fed are operating without 2 months of clean labor data, breaking the most important time series in the U.S. economy. I mean, that's trippy.
Yeah, this is unprecedented. But we've got private data. I mean, the ADP, they put out private. They take into account all the data on payroll and things like that, and so that's what the economists are relying on, the ADP and their private numbers. They've got sentiment surveys, but everything is pointing towards a softening labor market, especially when you look at those numbers, because who can deny what's going on here? We're seeing the layoffs. We know people in our real lives who are being affected by this. We don't need the data really to back that up. Things are bad, but they're hiding how bad it is, I think, with this black hole of data.
And what the private data sources show are declining job openings and rising difficulty for workers switching roles. I mean, we're seeing, it's like, oh, this is invisible over here, but then we look over here, it's also bad. I mean, it's like bad and bad, right? It's like shit.
Yeah, right. And according to the ADP, they're saying their numbers on November that the job market cut over 30,000 jobs.
Wow.
Versus expectations of a gain. So somebody in the government is still delusional, like, we're going to add net jobs to the economy this month. No. ADP said that's a lie. We shed 32,000 jobs. That's a sharp reversal from adding 47,000 jobs just in October. But who knows what numbers are real? We don't know.
Right. Well, nothing exists for November, and maybe we'll get a report by December. And wait, it's December. Maybe by January. Oh, poof, all the data's in the ether because the government was shut down. And there's some other crisis in front of us now. So who cares about that data? Keep it moving. It's all some marionette magic trick here. And this one, affects me the most. Small businesses took the biggest hit. I hate to hear this. Cutting a combined 120,000 jobs while large firms added 39,000. A widening big business wins, small shops die gap. And this is a bigger issue we've talked about here and there on the show, that we want to raise our kids in a culture where small businesses exist. And gosh, does it seem harder and harder day by day, week by week, year by year for that to happen. This is a big example of that. Also, the wage growth continued to cool across all sectors, signaling worker leverage is evaporating. So,
nobody has money to do anything. And you think about the small businesses were the backbone of the American economy, and it was the way for you to break out of the matrix so that you didn't have to worry about being laid off by a heartless corporation. You start your own small business, employ others, and that was the backbone, and that's just disappearing as these companies get bigger, and it's sad to see that they're being disproportionately affected in this.
I think it's harder to survive as a small business, but I also think that it's still America. I have I believe in them still. Maybe I'm just too optimistic.
Yeah.
Yes, I see them taking the biggest hit here with jobs of existing small businesses, but I do think it's still a place where you can create business, but maybe it's harder to retain the business and cut through and be successful. I'm not sure what the numbers are, but I want to believe in small business in the new year, man. I want to believe that we're going to be okay. being entrepreneurs and figuring out ways to make money outside of working for big corporations. But again, this gap shows us in real time that the numbers say otherwise, which makes me think, well, shit, I don't know what's going to happen for the future, but maybe my pocket square business I'm looking to start in the new year. Maybe not the best investment for my time right now. I'm not sure. It's just
I don't think nobody's going to have money to buy the suits, Paul, to put the pocket square in.
It's just a napkin with a markup. That's why it's a smart idea.
Hey, if you can sell it to somebody, I'm all for it. But I mean, we're seeing how the small businesses are getting crushed, negative 120K jobs just for the month. The big corporations somehow are growing. This is a two-tiered labor market. And we're both, entrepreneurs, small business owners trying to make it, trying to figure things out. And we're just seeing how increasingly difficult it is to stay above water in this market. It's crazy.
Yeah, also The Guardian has this report here. Economists expected 10,000 jobs. Instead, November came in at 32,000. So now we're talking November. Broad weakness across manufacturing, construction, and information sectors. The report heightens fears that the jobless boom may be turning into a real downturn. Also, that's an oxymoron to say jobless boom. It's a bad thing. Why does it have to be a boom? It would just be the jobless.
I mean, boom is just an explosion. It could be an explosion up. It could be an explosion down. I get what you're saying. But
what comes up must come down. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, we're supposed to basically celebrate this right now. Like, we're adding some jobs at least, but those are just going to the giant corporations. They added just a few. That's like losing your house, but being told that the good news is that, Target just hired a greeter.
What also really annoys me? The best example of this with corporations is like, go to Home Depot right now, try and get help. You won't find a single person to help you. Then you'll find 20 people at the register pointing for you, the consumer, to do self-checkout. Like, great. You added a job to a big corporate company, and then that job is not even a real job. It's just, what are they actually doing? I don't even think that, you're not really helping anybody. I just feel like corporations are like ticking the box of, yes, we've added a few jobs, right? Then you go to the big corporate place and it's like, what actually is this? You're not even helping anyone. When's the last time Home Depot got help?
Did you have a problem at Home Depot recently? Is that
just happened this week? It's the holidays.
What happened?
Trying to get the Christmas tree stuff.
It sounds very personal.
Well, I'm just tired of workers telling me how to do self-checkout. You're standing right there. You check me out. You work here. I don't work here.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I get it. Yeah, I get it, man. So what are you advocating for? That they should be not employed?
No, I'm going back to the small business hardware store. I'm going back to my good hard-earned money is paid to people also working for it. When I go to the hardware store in town, the guy walks with me and shows me the fixture I need, and he checks me out.
You're right.
And he checks me out.
Shout out to Ken, man. Shout out to Ken at the Ace Hardware in San Francisco. This fool has guided me through more major life mishaps than I can even imagine, through how to repair things in my house. And I will only go to him because that's the kind of small business. It's his small little franchise to Ace Hardware. And I am so loyal to him because he goes out of his way for that. I think that is a way.
That's middle tier though. Ace Hardware is still a corporation, but it's still.
No, I know, I get it, but he's like a franchisee or some shit. I don't know.
He's doing all right. My point being, corporate America is going to add jobs. I don't even think the experience is as good as it could be. It's a deeper issue for me, where it's like you're not even really helping anybody. You're just ticking a box because you could afford to. Let's help small businesses. Let's keep them in business. Let's add more jobs there. Let's give them our money and our business. And honestly, I think the experience 9 times out of 10 might be better, at least in the hardware department. I would argue it's better. Let's go into the November picture, man. Slack everywhere, confidence nowhere. Chicago Fed alternate estimate here from Reuters. The BLS report's delayed, so they're saying unemployment held at 4.4%, but alternate data shows net job losses in November, especially in retail, hospitality, and manufacturing. Why every story this episode is just another topic that's been in the negative from this blackout? I mean, we know, it's clear, it's not going well.
Yeah, it's not. But it's amazing how they still are managing to keep the unemployment number around 4.4, because that is technically like low unemployment, and that's the number they keep touting out there. We all know it's different. We all know. We got the vibes. This is the vibe economy. We know the vibes are off. Something is wrong. It's bad.
It's marketing, and we've talked about this before. You move numbers one way, you make it appear another way it actually isn't. I mean, I do feel like politicians across both parties do this all the time. They're like, unemployment's down, immigration's down, this is up, whatever they want to say. It's just filtering through propaganda, right? It's just to say, well, jobs are actually not that bad. Well,
Yeah.
you're not going out for a job maybe, Tommy, but everyone else going out for jobs, it's bad. We feel it. We feel it in real time, you know?
Right.
Job postings have fallen, quits are down, worker churn is slowing, classic early recession signals are happening right now. The Fed openly acknowledged it is making policy decisions without clean data, relying on proxy indicators. So this is just like unprecedented, man.
Yeah, and it shapes financial futures for generations to come. We are still living through the issues that were caused by the 2008 financial crisis. Like, if this goes the wrong way, our kids in their 20s, 30s, 40s are still going to be feeling the effects. That's why some of this stuff is so important, and why it's important to look at what's going on here. I mean, we're talking about some of the overall estimates here from Reuters are saying that over 1 million job cuts for 2025, which is a 54% jump since last year. So tell me, how is this unemployment rate staying around 4.4? There's a lot of people not being counted in this data. And the hiring plans are at their lowest level since 2010. Think about that. Even worse than the pandemic, which actually saw a hiring boom, which was interesting. But part of that is because these companies are citing AI is a reason for more than 54,000 layoffs this year.
Wow.
That's where a lot of this is headed here. And this is basically the no fire, no hire zone. So we've heard job hugging. They're trying to hang on to these jobs because they don't know what's out there. We don't know. We're in the middle of this too ourselves, Paul, as we look at this market and we're like, nobody knows what's happening here. Especially at the end of the year. These companies, they're doing weird stuff with their budget. So it's a dicey time for a lot of us.
It is. I mean, look, doing this show with you, the amount we've learned just in a little bit of time doing this, and that the fact that there's so many factors. This is why I always go back to being an old school guy. It's almost like minimalizing, simplifying our financial worlds, because we have so much against us, from credit card interest rates to what you just talked about with the job market. There's so many more. Think about how many more influences we have on our spending and our economy. And now we add a layer this year with the tariffs, crushing small businesses. It's another layer. So ADP's deeper breakdown, they show the 120,000 small business jobs evaporated in November. That's by far the worst month of the year. And analysts are directly blaming, or trying to blame, Trump's newly reinstated tariffs for raising input costs and suffocating margins. And I actually know this to be true across some small businesses. I mean, brass tacks, if it costs more money to bring something in, you got to raise your prices to at least still make the profit you have to make. And I don't mean Walmart. I mean Little Mo's toy shop on the corner. That's who's getting squeezed. These big corporations don't really care as much. They don't feel it as much. The small businesses are getting squeezed. Large corporations mostly avoided layoffs, once again creating a two-tier labor market. Like you just said, it's like, I feel for these small businesses. What do they have to do if it comes to the tariffs affecting their bottom line? What do they do in this situation?
I think they should revolt against the person who implemented this to begin with. This was such an unforced error. Nobody was talking about tariffs 18 months ago. None of this was influential in our day-to-day life 18 months ago. And now it's one of the biggest things causing us to spend more money as households. Stop this shit. Like, you can end it today. Just stop.
What's funny?
Whatever.
What's funny is I said, big businesses can afford some of these costs going up. But did you hear about this? It's actually interesting because Costco was like, actually, we want our money back. We can't afford this. They just filed a lawsuit demanding refunds on tariffs paid under Trump's use of the International Economic Emergency Powers Act, arguing those duties were never authorized by Congress. So they're like, hey, we don't want to pay for this. We want the money back. And that's kind of a big, unprecedented move for a big corporation like Costco.
Yeah, I love it. Show those big balls, Costco. I love Costco's always fighting for the little guy. Their CEO, he takes like a $300,000 salary, which is still a lot, but in the CEO world, it is nothing. They're always giving back to employees. That's why they're out there selling you gold, because they know what's coming. They made it fashionable.
They've also never raised the price on the hot dog, right? It was that famous thing too.
Dude, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's still like $1.50, the same price as in the late 80s or whatever. Like I give it up to them for doing that, for pushing back against that.
I mean, yeah, but if you ate a Costco hot dog at that price every day, you'll just have more prices in your healthcare. Either way, you're going to pay for it somewhere.
The point is, they're trying to do what they can to, tame down the forces of inflation.
And, this lawsuit's interesting. It calls the on-again, off-again chaos of Trump's tariff policy, saying the whiplash left markets gyrating and made it impossible for big importers to plan. And obviously, Costco's in the middle of that. So this move, they're basically saying, like, it's not just mom and pop shops, but it's also giant retailers. And they're quietly eating the cost of tariff policy that was sold as other countries paying. And look, we know it affects small business. This is Costco saying it also affects us. Maybe I was wrong before. I said big businesses, don't feel us as much. Everyone's feeling a little bit squeezed in the sense,
They all feel it, but the bigger the business, the more they can absorb it, because they can spread that cost out over more people and more purchases, and so it doesn't seem like it's affecting you as much. But they're still getting you to pay. And now it brings us to a really interesting story that I saw in the USA Today, because it's showing us how little our money actually gets for us. The USA Today published a story that $140,000 is now the new poverty line for middle-class families, which is really interesting. They did a deep dive. This was from somebody else's report. I forgot exactly who. We can, credit him afterwards. But he's saying that, the six-figure income of $140K should now be considered financially strained for families in many urban areas because of healthcare, housing, childcare, debt. All of that has been outpacing wages over the past 15 years, and even households earning that American dream number of six figures are now living paycheck to paycheck. This is absolutely real, and this is based on, the poverty line is based on very antiquated data that shows that, a family of four, the poverty line is $32,000. That is, yes, extreme poverty, but in America, it's even harder to get by on six figures when you're trying to keep up with all of these expenses here.
That's a depressing number to realize that could be true with this. It's like, I guess I'm poor. I mean, it's kind of crazy to look at this and think that way. And with inflation, numbers changing, it's like, it just feels like there's never enough, especially in a lot of the urban metro areas, big cities. It's harder and harder for people to afford just basic quality of life. And we've talked about this before. People are paying now, buy now, pay later, or credit card debt. Things are just squeezed to a point of I just got to survive. What is the solution here? We don't really have the answer, but damn, that is a crazy stat to read.
Yeah.
Thank you, USA
and
Today.
The thing that messes this up is that, if you're making under that 32K line, you're getting subsidies and all sorts of assistance that you absolutely need. But there is a major gap of people in the middle who still aren't making enough to keep up, who don't qualify for those things when they absolutely should, because these numbers need to be reevaluated and their base case needs to be reexamined there on how they determine the base number. So you think that six figures is gonna get you somewhere in America, and it just gets eaten up quickly.
It's crazy, man. Also, weakening labor market, collapsing small business, the worker leverage evaporating, and a middle class redefining poverty at six figures. Don't forget, this is all happening. This is dark, but you know what's darker? All that data that's missing that went dark. That's what's even darker.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we still don't have this report. It's delayed. Or is it the early stages of labor recession that no one wants to label yet because the proof is missing? They're like, it's not there, or whatever.
Yeah, that's they just change and move the goal lines here. But if the labor market is flying blind, the rest of the economy is just spiraling even faster here.
Right. Yeah, the economy is spiraling. Can we check in emotionally for a second, you and I? We talk about this stuff. Does this make you worry about are you more worried being more informed? We want you guys out there, and you comment and let us know. Does this information concern you for our future? Do you like almost want to be in the clouds? Like, what's the answer for us trying to survive in this economy now? Is it ignore this and just look at your books, or is it be informed and be a little more safe with your spending? Comment and let us know like how you feel emotionally. I'm curious because Arthur and I have been doing this show for a minute. The more we do this, the more we go like, how are we gonna survive next year, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's jaded us a bit, and I'm curious for everybody watching. Do you feel this way as we talk about data missing and the job market and the economy and all this stuff? Let us know.
You know, for me personally, I had to unplug kind of for a few days because I do feel like it was affecting me emotionally in a very negative way. I don't think that there's any way you can look at what is going on and be like, everything is okay. Like, and find the deeper you go into it, the less hope that you see. And that is not who I am. I know that on this show, a lot of times we end up kind of being on opposite sides there. And I think at my core, there is a hope and optimism, which I admire in you, because I do think that the human spirit finds a way out of this. I think that there's a lot of dark things that are all converging at once, whether it be war, AI, weird incentives, dark data, and the employment situation, AI, layoffs, all of it. And I don't think that you can have any choice but to be scared, especially when you're a parent. Like, especially, I've got a 1-year-old who I'm like, I brought you into this right when it's like all running here.
Well, look, if you look throughout history, our parents' generation, there's always been ways you have to overcome economic strife and figure out ways to make it work. Like I said earlier, there's just more now. There's just more avenues, which is, the information is maybe good. It makes you, as a parent, a little more informed about protection and financial protection. And it can't be all bad. Maybe it's great that we're all learning this because we could just be better consumers and better spenders as we learn the information. And also, outside of all the finance, live your life. You got a great baby over there. It's also great. It's a good thing. I'm an eternal optimist who's broke, and maybe that's telling.
But sometimes that peace of mind, I think, is worth not having the money sometimes. I know that sometimes the broker that I have been, almost the happier, because you look at things differently. You appreciate the small things and the small wins that you get along the way. Sometimes when it gets to the other side, you start worrying about losing it, and that loss of knowing that I had it, but it's gone now. That fear that instills is, I think, worse.
Let us know, man. Comment below. You guys tell us. Do you feel rigged? Do you feel like your job, your investments, or the stuff you watch is just to escape this all, or is it part of it? I mean, what's happening? I feel like I'm lost, and I want to just get back to a hopeful place where my money is safe, and so are my kids.
We'll try. I guess that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to learn to figure out how to avoid a lot of this stuff. I guess that's what we're doing.
Next episode,
and it's positive for us. But
I know. This is a hard
AI take your shirt off again.
Yeah. I did an AI striptease last episode. But you know what, guys? Be safe, be informed, know what you're doing with your money, and keep it classy out there. Goodbye, everybody.
This show is sponsored by Galileo FX, the only automated trading software that shows you the wins and losses before you buy. Learn more at store.galileofx.com.